What's up, everybody? This is Talkative Carl back again for another spoiler review for episode 3 of the Hawkeye series. Uh, got like halfway there, so like I think it's supposed to be airing up until maybe like the week before Christmas is when the last episode of the series will be airing. So I'm feeling these like short series, just like 6 to 8 episode ish type of series, just tight. It's like a nice tight season. And you know, not every show needs to do this. You just tell enough of the story that warrants the length that you given it, and not being bogged down by unnecessary filler episodes like we've seen in like a few episodes from the Netflix Marvel shows. But before we get into it, I got a couple things I want to clarify. First and foremost, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff to Talkative Carl. Excuse me, on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Follow me on my Patreon. That's patreon.com/talkativecarl. If you want to join if you want to further support the channel, you can join any one of the tier lists on the show. Sorry, I forgot to turn off my TV before I started streaming. You can join any tier list. If you have any ideas for certain reviews, like a comic or a show, or just a general topic that you want me to bring up, I will definitely do so. And you can follow the links in the description on the YouTube videos. I have been getting like at least a few more subscribers on the YouTube channel and a couple of more on my Twitch channel. So you guys have been amazing, and thank you all for the just for showing up and checking out the videos. That is great. And definitely share amongst your friends and tell them about me if they have any kind of interest in the comics that I've been reviewing, or the video games I've been doing walkthroughs of, or in the general topics I've been going over, or any of these reviews of movies and TV shows that I've been doing. If they have any interest in whatsoever that I've been doing so far, or whatever, definitely point them my way. It'd be greatly appreciated. Second thing, I do want to apologize for probably a past couple of videos. To my point of view, I feel like I've been like kind of dozing off, in the midst of doing like a game or whatever, and I hope I didn't come across that. Like Spider-Man Far From Home review that I did last week or earlier this week, I forget which. I'm pretty sure last week. I felt like I was nodding off in the middle of discussing that, and I had to redo my 8th video for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond because I took it down from my Twitch channel. Luckily, I didn't do much of anything because I'm still in the same doggone city. But I, felt like I've been like, in like a minute or two, like nodding off, and it's like I do not feel comfortable posting this stuff. So I've been at work, coming into work like almost like every day since Sunday, and then like I've been on my feet and what have you, and getting home and it's cold. It's usually like because daylight savings time, the sun sets a little bit earlier, so like yeah. Well, all that to be saying is that, by the time I get home and finally get a chance to sit down and relax, exhaustion catch up with me. So I, earlier today I made like a point in my head that anytime I have to come to work, it feels like almost every day except my designated days off, like Thursdays and Saturdays, I will do what I can, but I'll probably have to like shift the videos I want to do to my days off for at least the bulk of them, so that way I'm more well rested and more geared up to do extended videos. So that's what I'm probably gonna have to do whenever I have to come across things like that, because normally I get like a bonus day off, so that way I can like reset and feel comfortable shelling out more videos for the channels. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to redo the 8th video for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, but so far as like the Spider-Man Far From Home review that I did, if anybody who checked that out feels that I might sound incoherent or anything like that, it didn't seem like it, but usually I don't want to repeat videos, but in this particular case, if you feel like I probably need to, I'll be more than happy. So just, if you check out that video, you can leave a comment on that particular video. Let me know. If there's like a decent amount of y'all saying that, yeah, you probably should redo that video because you might be, you sound incoherent or whatever. So if enough people are saying that, then I'll redo Far From Home review. But yeah, from now on, I'll be more attentive. And if exhaustion catches up with me, I'll probably have to like not, stream if I can help it. Because I don't want to spread myself thin to the point I'm just passing out in the middle of stream. I don't want to do that. So anyway, now that's all out the way. I want to get into the episode 3 of Hawkeye series. Man, so far in phase 4, well, the movie's been all right, but they nailing it with these TV shows. I'm telling you that much. It's more specifically, Loki and Hawkeye series, seems like, well, Loki's right now, since it's complete, is at the top tier so far as like almost like just phenomenal writing, cinematography, directing. It's just top notch all the way, and they did not drop the ball at all, unlike certain cases with WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Not that they were terrible, it's just like there's certain choices that I completely disagree with. But Loki's been superb, but Hawkeye is definitely can easily be like the runner-up. And I covered episode 1 and 2 last week, so you can check that out on the channel as well, as I give my thoughts on those 2 episodes. But this one, you get a little bit more info on Echo, who I looked up, and it looks like she's kind of sort of a Daredevil enemy / anti-hero. She fought Daredevil in the comics. She is, in the comics, she as like a henchman or like a hired gun for the Kingpin. And the little girl they have cast as young Echo looks, I don't know if that's the actress's like, I don't know, maybe little sister or something, but because the facial features look spot on like each other, and it's crazy how much they actually do look alike. But and since, like, I know here and there, there's been like people who do sign languages and everything like that, but a lot of deaf and mute people, people who lately has been getting a whole lot of love, and I love it. That's something I really want to learn at some point. Learn how to do sign languages. I know a little, not like enough to do a complete sentence in sign languages, but like I know sorry, thank you, Eternals, strong, influence, Icarus, Gilgamesh, uh, Kengo, that kind of thing. But yeah, and then she's also got like, the actress has a prosthetic leg, and they're like, wow, this is like giving like a, like, good on you, Marvel, just like showing some representation. Well, it being, because if this was the CW, they'll make a whole spectacle about like patting themselves on the back practically, about making it her being having a prosthetic leg being like a whole thing, or being like just mute or deaf being a whole thing, and like not like it's her, just her character and she's like the deaf person or anything like that. But like I always like to use this reference, like with Don Cheadle's introduction as Rhodey in Iron Man 2. I like to use this when it comes to moments like this. Look, I'm here, and now I'm here now. Let's move on. It's like, yes. It's like, don't have to make a big spectacle of it. It's just like she's deaf and mute. She got one leg. She's a child, but she's still like kicking ass. It's like, you see a shot of that, moving on, and like you get it, and it handles respectively, and with care and understanding, and it's like a nice balance between not being a spectacle and ignoring it. It's like they ride that line, and like it's just, and ever since Makari from the Eternals, I'm just like, it's just like it's starting to become like a fascination, but definitely awesome. And freaking always like archery. I've been telling people, like I took archery classes for my birthday this year, and like I really want to go again, but I looked it up, and like a really cool bow that I wanted, I saw on Amazon. It was like $268 if it come like with necessary accessories and like a handful of arrows and like a target piece of paper thing, and it's like I can easily get it, but I probably need, because that's something I want to do. I want to call up that archery place that I went to in Chicago, and I ask for some tips on like when the time comes when I do get one of those. I really want a bow and arrow for myself. This kind of revitalizes that passion again. I mean, I still had that passion, but this really like set some fire to it, because I really want a bow for myself. Not just use it willy nilly, just like to practice on it and stuff, and go out to, if I can go out to a range myself or out to a field or something like that, so that way I can practice without being interrupted or accidentally hitting somebody. That's something I really want to do. But man, I like the bow and arrows. It's like it's fun as hell. If you can do it, go to an archery range, sign up for like some kind of an hour-long session, or at least an hour or two long session, and just like you'll get a kick out of using the bow and arrow, and it's fun. Because like I don't know what it is, because like I got pretty good at it. It's just like after like the first few minutes, I started like whipping those, not like super fast like Hawkeye or anything like that, but it's like like aim and like line on my shot, and aim high, as they said in this. I was like, as soon as they said aim high, it clicked from my memory, went back to my lessons, like, yeah, you probably need to raise that a little bit higher, and just because the arc and everything like that. Oh my god, archery is freaking amazing, and y'all put down Hawkeye so badly throughout the 10 years of the MCU, and like look how badass he is. See, that's the thing, it drives me up the wall when people talk about like, oh, like Clinton Barton is so boring and like you can't do anything interesting with him. That's because any comments that you've seen him in, or wherever they try to use material, they try to use to bring when he's supporting character in like these Avengers movies, they barely have nothing to work with. So of course, you in your mind's eye, you will be perceived as boring and or no nothing, and mostly because it's not about him half the time up until this point. And then like he got a thing in Age of Ultron and a thing in Endgame, which is kind of like this show is based off the ramifications of what he did during the beginning of Endgame. He is a badass. It's always is, and he always mentions in the show that as Kate Bishop talking about like she wants to rebrand him to get his name out there. He's like, I used to work for Shield. The point of my job is not to be in the limelight, to not to be seen, and if you have read Matt Fraction's Hawkeye, which I covered on my YouTube channel, so you can check out my review for the Matt Fractions Hawkeye, and then the Kate Bishop Kelly Thompson run of Kate Bishop Hawkeye. Clint Barton, almost to the point of as good as a marksman as Bullseye. Because you only see him use a bow and arrow, but he can use other weapons to throw at people. Like in the Matt Fraction run in the comic, he tosses a playing card like Gambit, practically, and cut a dude's neck within a split second while in the midst of punching another person. Like he is badass. He just plays off being a goofball. But if Hawkeye suddenly snapped one day, he can easily be Bullseye. He can be Bullseye if he's super serious and crazy. He can just easily turn into Bullseye if you're not careful. He just uses a bow and arrow to like hit his targets because that's his weapon of choice. But he doesn't necessarily need it. If you think about it, it makes him even more dangerous. And then, of course, you finally get to see him use like a bow and arrow in this episode, and like because I love it when like Green Arrow and Hawkeye, when they utilizes their trick arrows, comic accurate trick arrows, it does give you like a tingly sensation because like that's what you expect from these famous archers in comic book history. And like I remember in one episode of the Arrow series, I'm pretty sure like maybe like second or third season, and they meet a Wildcat, like an old JSA team member in the comics. He was fighting Green Arrow, and he was in his gym, and then like you see like in like a smooth motion as he's taking a tumble, Green Arrow took one of his arrows, stuck it inside one of the boxing gloves on the ground, and stood right back up and fired it. And you get to see the boxing glove arrow, even though it's not practical by any means, but you have seen in the comics or a TV show of Green Arrow using the boxing glove arrow as his one of his goofy but signature things he pulls out. And like you get to see him use the doggone thing, and it gets you giddy because like yes, because you like to, because I'm pretty sure it was like a lot of people at that time, complaining like, oh, why doesn't he use like these trick arrows like the boxing glove arrow, and he used the boxing glove arrow in that particular episode. I forgot the name of that episode, but in this Hawkeye series, you get to see Hawkeye use pinpoint particle arrow to enlarge one arrow that Kate shot, and you get to see this giant arrow fall down and just hit a car, and it was awesome. Like it reminded me of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, one of my favorite video games. And it's not exactly like that, but it's kind of like that, where his ultimate move in that game is firing an arrow with Ant-Man sitting on top of the arrow, and he enlarges and to beat up the opponent. So it's kind of sort of like that, when it's like pin particles is involved, but it's so cool. But anyway, you get the uh, see Echo's, a bit of her past. I'm glad they don't linger on her too long, but give us just enough, because apparently she's getting her own series, and I like the character so far, or at least the actress so far in this role. But here's the thing, just a side note, and I might be in the minority on this, but I don't think not every character, no matter how good the character is in a particular series, like a supporting or enemy or whatever, it's just like the whole situation with like the trench after Aquaman movie came out, because those creatures, what is it, James Vaughn, or director of Aquaman, as he showcased uh, uh, those trench creatures, everybody's like, "Oh, we should greenlit, a trench series," and it's like, what can you do? They just probably glorify xenomorphs, maybe, but it's like, why would you need like, a TV show based off some creatures that you probably won't get Aquaman to fight, but they eventually just kind of roundabout way turn it into like a Black Manta kind of show, I guess. But this is the thing, like, me personally, I don't think not every character, no matter how good they are in a particular show, they are not showcased, but like a supporting character in. They don't need a roundabout another TV show, to make about them. I mean, it's like some people don't need their own show. It's like, because they did that for like before Gina Carano got in trouble with her, very, kind of horrible statements. She was going to get her own show, as Cara Dune, a Cara Dune show. I'm not sure if they even doing that anymore, or they decide to continue the show but try to find somebody else. But it's like, as good as that character was in The Mandalorian, I was like, okay, like, not everything needs a spin-off from, then you're gonna have a spin-off from it. Then if that, the whole Echo show comes out, then whoever supporting character in that, it might be good. They're gonna be like supporting off of that, and then it's kind of like this whole Russian nesting doll situation of spinoffs, and it's like, not everything needs a freaking spinoff. But anyway, she's interrogating Clint because early in like flashbacks, during like the growing up, and then during the events after Infinity War, or at least about to lead up into Endgame. Apparently her father was in organized crime, and there's been hints that he's works for Wilson Fisk, and some people say her uncle, the voice seemed like he wasn't fully seen, so it's been hinted that might be Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin. And Kevin Feige, now he has like control over the Marvel Netflix shows again, because whoever the showrunner previously was, he got the boot, so now he got complete rights to those characters because there was great casting, and they trying to like, he wants to worm their way back into the fold, which is cool. Because definitely I want John Bernthal as the Punisher back. But Charlie Cox is already like, I don't even know if it's even a rumor anymore. It's pretty much, obvious that he's going to have a cameo in Spider-Man No Way Home. So they want to bring these people back. And then in the comics, Wilson Fisk hired Echo to take down Daredevil. So it's possible. I'm excited anyway. Let's see how that. He probably will show up in a physical, official capacity in her own show, but I kind of hope they kind of do that before that. But anyway, next. So she interrogating Clint, asking about who is Ronan, because she was wearing like that costume. Your partner's wearing that costume, And like you're telling me that the Ronin is dead by Black Widow, a person who is already dead, so they can't corroborate your story. It's kind of too much of a coincidence, huh? And like, uh, the Hawkeye team break loose. It leads to an awesome car chase scene, which is kind of like reminiscent of the what was issue 304 of the Matt Fractions run, where they being chased down by the Tracksuit Mafia guys as they're like shooting trick arrows at the cars. You can see the putty arrow and this cool arrow that I don't even know what it's called. Where like Kate shot it in the grill of one of the cars, and springs and like kind of like a big metal net, almost like the big metal net that you see in like the Predator films that wrap around you and cut you. It kind of reminds me of that in a way. And like you shot it and it springs out and like encased like the front end of the car. Like what kind of arrow was that? And then there's a few arrows that Clint put to the side. It's like not that one, not that one. What are those arrows? Like are they like the most dangerous ones? It's like there's one like meant for the Hulk, and another is like an atomic warhead version. Like what kind of stuff do you have to set aside so she won't shoot and take out an entire bridge with? But that was what is after they lost track of the Hawkeye team. There's one funny moment I don't think anybody brought up, but it's like when essentially Echo's trying to sign language, the Tracksuit Mafia is like, okay, let's go, roll out. And they can't, speak sign language, and they can't hear her. And like her, her right-hand man, who kind of looks like Kit Harington, with the hair and the face. He looks like he could be Kit Harington's brother or something. It's like, he looks so, I thought it was like, is that Kit Harington? Like, no, he's in the Eternals. He's Black Knight. What he's doing in the Hawkeye series? It's like, no, that's not Kit Harington, but he looks like Kit Harington. And he had to like tell us like, hey, move on, let's go. It's like, because he's the only one who could actually do sign language and everything like that. Because the Tracksuit Mafia people are just complete idiots. Hawkeye's hearing aid got destroyed in the midst of that fight, so they go to get it repaired, and like it's also just diner scene with them, just Kate and Hawkeye just like chatting and everything like that. And it's like, okay, now we seriously gotta deal with these guys, because they won't stop at this point. And they're like, these Tracksuit Mafia, they're like low level at first, but whoever was at the tippy top has been slowly growing and expanding this gang, and they started to become like a serious threat. Even though the crew is made up of idiots. Then while they going back to the apartment to get like a brief respite, no, I think it was before the diner scene. They stop off at the apartment to get like a brief respite and change clothes and what have you. And it was a cool scene, a very touching scene that I could really enjoy. And it was impressive writing, where it's like you in like almost like in the head of Clint, where it's like there's music, Christmas music going off, and like like the sound is panning to like almost like a ringing in the ear sound, and the sound on top of the sound being muffled, so you're in Clint's head, where he's deaf in one ear. So from the explosions that was going off while he's in that big massive fight in Endgame in the third act, and he's running with like the Infinity Gauntlet, and stuff is firing. These are like kind of like like a like soldiers from war kind of situation. They certain things happen, and it kind of affected them physically in some shape or form. In his case, he's deaf in one ear, so he had to use a hearing aid to be able to understand. So, and he still used sign languages. So he's cleaning himself up, and then he's getting a phone call. He assumes it's his wife, but it's his youngest son trying to see if he's like coming home and everything like that. And he can't not let on that he can't understand what his son is saying. He's playing off like, you're cutting out there, buddy. And he got Kate kind of like write down what the kid's saying on a notepad, and it's like, and then the kid mentions like, it's okay if you can't make it out, to Christmas, and it's like, no, he's like, no, I'll be there, buddy. And and right when the kid's hanging up, you just see like, man, it's like Jeremy Renner is like an awesome actor. I don't care about anybody says, about him outside of acting, but because I don't think he's like a horrible person or anything like that, but his acting is just so good. Because like he had that moment in his face, his sunken face, like, I'm not a parent, but I imagine like you want to be there for Christmas with your kids, but you have some like a dire situation that you got to get handled beforehand, and you cannot ignore at this point. And it's like the idea of, because your kids being understanding, but you're disappointing them, like as a parent, and it's like, he's like it's getting to him at this point. It's just like it's like a John McClane thing. It's Die Hard with, Marvel's Die Hard is awesome, man. It's like it's like a great scene being played out, and then like you see the heartbreak on his face, you see the heartbreak on Kate's face, as she's have to, write this down, and like she understanding what the kid's saying, and she knows that he's playing it out like it's no big deal, but she knows it's a very big deal, and like she knows he want to take down these guys and her stepdad or potential stepdad, who actually is the swordsman in Marvel Comics. Don't know if I ever brought that up in my previous review of episode 1 and 2, but the swordsman in the comics helped raise Clint and his brother, in the circus after his abusive childhood by his father, who died in a car crash, and then essentially swordsman raised him, and talking about the fight and use swords, but also he learned how to use the bow and arrow to great effect. So as they go back to Kate's apartment to find some more information, Clint walks down the hall and like is stopped by the swordsman, whose name I'm forgetting that fast, but you know who I'm talking about. And he got a sword up to like Clint's neck, and then like he's leaning over, his head's cocking to the side, like it ends there. The episode ends there, but it's like it looks like he's about to acknowledge, like, I recognize you kind of situation. So I'm half expecting them to actually go through with it and say like, yeah, these two have history, because I'm not sure how I'll feel if they decide to go the other way and say like, they don't actually know each other. So they leave it like completely different from what the comics is. But I really hope they go with, yeah, they know each other. They just kind of like, the relationship kind of fell out kind of situation when Clint was younger. So we might have like, a small flashback earlier in the next episode showing like, a younger Clint at a circus with the swordsman, and training and whatnot, and learning how to use a bow and arrow with such great effect. That'll be cool. But yeah, like another great episode. Like I think like so far this is probably my favorite one, because you get to see like these awesome arrows, the putty arrow and like the pin particle arrow and all this stuff. And they fired a USB arrow. I'm not sure that it's, I guess it's supposed to be a distraction, but it's like, I expect them to actually use that on some kind of electronic thing to get some data, but that was like a waste of a arrow. I mean, like they could have easily used that for something else, because they later used a computer, but she was locked out of it. But I don't know. that was like a waste of an arrow. Because I seen like in the first Avengers movie when Clint was being taken over by Loki, he fired a USB arrow through the shield helicarrier to hit. No, it wasn't a USB arrow. It's been a while since I've seen the first Avengers movie, but I don't know if it's like no, I think it was some kind of thing that circuit the control panel, I guess. But I'm pretty sure I've seen him using a USB arrow at least once. Or man, I'm confusing him with Green Arrow because I know he used a USB arrow once before too in the show. So anyway, yeah, I mean like another great episode. So I'm really digging this, and it's been superb because I'm just hoping because only Loki's the only one in my opinion did not drop the ball on any of the episodes. So I hope Hawkeye maintains that trend because so far with the Quicksilver thing and WandaVision and then the certain left out shots or rush shots in Falcon and Winter Soldier kind of left me feeling like the shows were lacking slightly. It's not saying like they were terrible, but it's like a slight drop, a slight drop in quality here and there. But yeah, so that is my review for episode 3 of the Hawkeye series, episode 3. So don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff to Talkative Carl on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Follow me on my Patreon. That's patreon.com/talkativecarl. Links are in the description. And also, I should be filling up to getting through another video for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. So, like, I haven't nodded off yet, and I don't feel exhausted. Maybe because I decided, right now that, I, give myself kind of pop and like, get, some a bit of sugar in me, so like I can at least go through an hour of gameplay of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, and then I'll probably have to double up on videos for tomorrow. Normally I don't stream on Thursdays, but I want to make sure I at some point tomorrow evening start like doing some kind of like making up for lost time with that game, because I really want to jump right back into it, because I already gonna have to in a couple of weeks Halo Infinite gonna be coming out, and I'm gonna be diving into that on my Xbox Series S. So it's gonna be like 2 games I might run side to side just a little bit, because hopefully by that time I'll be nearly done with Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. But and so far, like, Halo Infinite probably won't last that long, depending on how long the campaign is. Normally, those things probably don't last too long. But anyway, look forward to that. And this Friday I will be covering the final Spider-Man movie review, Into the Spider-Verse, and then alongside with Lego Batman to wrap that up for my Batman stuff. Well, I also want to do Batman Year One, but I'll say that for probably after the new year. And then I want to, I'm working on the next TV show review is the Card Captor Secures Season 1, so look forward to that possibly some point next month. And then Chaotic Lore videos, I'll continue that in January, because I already got like a lot of stuff done, and then Christmas holiday and everything like that. I want to, handle, all the stuff that I want to handle, along with Christmas movies that I want to review. I still have a handful of those. So yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Take care, and I'll hopefully see you guys in a little while when I play some Pokemon. So take care, everybody.